Now we are going to create a new animated smoke on 3ds Max using FumeFX. My friend and colleague Gregory Pish has created this simulation in FumeFX. The goal is to create generic smoke texture which we can reuse to minimize memory footprint. I render the animation on a gray background with the alpha channel, then save all the 150 frames of animation and import it into After Effects. The animation looks good, but doesn't loop. The goal is to find a looping animation. I look for a starting frame that looks good, and then keep 64 frames of this animation. Let's make this animation loop in 32 frames. I split the animation in the middle and then make this sequence fade. The sequence is now looping and looks good, with no popping or drop frames. I export the 32 frame animation as a Targa sequence, and I do the same thing for the alpha channel on a new texture. Once in Photoshop, we have to create our sub-UV texture of 32 tiles. The first idea is to do it by copying and pasting each and every frame one by one on a new texture of 8x4 tiles. This is very long and prone to mistakes. So we will use a Photoshop tool called Contact Sheet 2. If you are using Photoshop CS5, it's not available by default, but you can download it on the adobe.com website. Then copy it in the plugin folder, restart Photoshop, and you will have a new tool. We launch Contact Sheet 2, then browse to the proper folder where our textures are. The size of the texture will be 2048 by 1024 with 8x4 tiles of 256 by 256 pixels. I do the same thing for the alpha channel using the same settings. One drawback of this tool is that there is an offset of 1 pixel on the bottom right corner, so move your texture by 1 pixel up, 1 pixel left. Do not scale your texture, it will result in jittering animation. We paste the alpha channel and check if everything is looking fine. The texture is okay, so save it under Smoke 8x4 in Targa format, 32 bytes per channel, and import it to Unreal, then create a new material. I have duplicated the previous smoke single effects. I just assign new material, then change the animation to linear with proper number of tiles, so 8x4. Adding a sub-movie module allows us to control the speed of the animation. The smoke is more lifelike now. Particles cost a lot because of what is called overdraw. It costs far more than the number of particles. Overdraw is a superposition of all the particles, their transparency, and the screen coverage that costs a lot. The more screen surface covered by particles, the slower it is. A full screen particle costs 4 times more than the same particle seen from twice as far away from the camera. Reducing the number of pixels that are being overdrawn is your main goal. So avoid full screen particles and keep the number of particles as low as possible. To show you this is the same emitter. On the left there is smoke, and on the right there is the real size of particles using a red texture. Remember to use the maximum of your texture in order to reduce the unused space.